Hey guys.
What's up?
So we are back with part two.
Part two of
our
testimony, the story, that.
Yes. So, but for those of you who are just jumping in on part two, please make sure you go back and watch part one first, or you might be kind of lost in the sauce. But And once again, I always have to let you all know, if you are not a part of the Refocus family, please like, follow, subscribe to our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube, all our different platforms. And also, if you are new here at Refocus, we reaffirm and reestablish God's purpose for relationships, lifestyle, and culture. We do that by challenging the norms with word, wisdom, and love. I'm Essence.
And I'm Anthony.
So we're going to get right back to where right now what we're doing is we're talking about
just the whole year that we've had.
The whole year that we've had. Why it's been an extended stay away from Refocused, where God has us, where he's currently brought us through, and just our emotional state then, where we are now, and how he strengthened us in the process of all this.
Yeah, with that extended stay too, I think he even kind of like dealt with me on that a little bit too. Like, hey, this ain't the first time life is gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna keep happening.
And if y'all are really gonna do this, like y'all say that I've asked you to do this, then we got to do it. He's hit me with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
we know this is all God bread.
Yeah.
You know?
I just had this conversation with my boy Keys, just about sticking with stuff. We'll say that for another episode though, because that's actually gonna get deep.
Yeah, that's something else.
I had a little come to Jesus moment with him. I didn't even get to tell you about it yet, so we'll probably say that conversation when we had the next episode about that. But anyway,
this has been, for those of you like just tuning in, or maybe another day. It's been a tumultuous. It has been a difficult,
stressful, different,
breaking, crushing, year and a half.
Yeah, well, one of our boys has said, y'all have gone through, and this is back when we at the story. Y'all have gone through in 6 months what people don't experience in 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
Just at that point. Yeah. And it's still, and for honestly, what we didn't know, it's still going.
It's still going. But it's crazy,
still going to be going.
Even somebody who came and did some work on the house had said that. He was like, man, some of the stuff that y'all experience and people don't deal with every 5 years. Yeah. But we've dealt with it all within 6 months.
6 months.
And so, yeah, I know we talked about.
We left off at 6 months in. We talked about the furnace and then kind of where our emotions were.
Yeah, we were starting on our emotions.
At that point. So if y'all are just seeing it up to this point, catching part 2 first, go back, check out part 1 so you can get the whole up to this point where we are now.
Yeah. I kind of shared a little bit about my emotional state. So how were some of your emotions doing?
Yeah, I think at this point I was starting to get, this is like the point where I was starting to get kind of weary. I was kind of starting, because usually like out of us, right, I'm usually the one that's like, I'm so I maybe even foolishly optimistic, right? It's a little,
it be you.
And as I'm, that's something too, like as I'm growing, I'm kind of coming off of that a little bit. And I don't think it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but I'm kind of coming off of that super optimism.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be unrealistic. Even the same way you could say about a super pessimist. That's not real life either.
It's not.
But at this point, 6 months in, to the story that we're talking about, that's where I'm starting to get a little shaken now. Like I'm kind of starting to be like, all right, bro, like what? Like really like what you said, like, man, did we mess up somewhere? Am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting too. I had to get shaken off of that and a few more things. I'm like, well, dog, I feel like
no, we did what we was
like we did what we were supposed to do, but and like, God love me, like he don't want to see me.
Yeah, he's not this malicious.
I wouldn't want that for my son.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
He's not a God who thrives off of seeing us suffer.
Yeah.
He really wants us to have a fulfilled life. He wants us to be joyful. His plans for us are good. And so we had to keep reminding ourselves of his promises, what his word says of our future. And it wasn't easy though.
Yeah.
There were times we were just, you know what? Nah, you know.
I think I felt it too on a sense of I feel like I had to be strong for you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I really felt like like in those moments I didn't want to, not saying that I couldn't, but I just didn't want to put
your stress,
any more stress on you than you was already feeling. You know what I mean? Just just for moments,
I feel like so selfish.
I feel like it wasn't fair to you.
Unselfish at the same time.
You know, I feel like it wasn't fair to you. And you know, if you there, like we both. This is how I feel. Like we both can't be there. You know what I'm saying? Like we both can't. Cause then who gonna be the one that pick the other one up at that given moment? Who gonna be the one that gives that is praying on the opposite end when the other one isn't or can't? Yeah. So I was kind of feeling that too, but in that same token, it was starting to be so much. I'm like, bro, forget it. Forget it.
And we needed that for each other though, because honestly, we are each other's best friend. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so although I admire and appreciate your desire to not put any additional stress on me, it's in these moments we become stronger as well. Mm-hmm. I need to be there for you as well as you be there for me. And also, although like I get emotional, I'm not this week-old little thing. I will pick it up and keep it moving. Mm-hmm. But as a husband, I could imagine what that looked like. Like, you know what? I just need to be the stronger vessel for my wife, and you already are that. But you can't rob me of being able to be that,
having that opportunity to be that for me.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be another episode. Yeah, just of the growth that we've experienced through this time frame as well. But
and it's funny because we've talked to people outside of it, but the rawness and realness of what happens within our home. Yeah. Everyone doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we've always had permission to share it either. Like we have, right? We've had permission, but it was
the understanding of what that really is.
What that is. And you know, you look at people around you in their lives, they have all these different things going on. And you can't depend on them to fix, because nobody could fix anything for us anyway. But it was even moments of, you know what? We always there for everybody else. And nobody even calls us. Nobody even checks on us. Or if they do call us and check on us because they want to tell us about their life, but nobody even knows we're going through. Blah, 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 blah. And like, you know, I had a friend tell me that she said, you know what y'all do, what y'all have been going through, y'all are like champions, because on the outside, nobody would know that y'all have that much going on at home. Because you haven't lacked in your servitude. You have not lacked in your joy that you bring to other people. Those things haven't stopped. And that I think we did very well. Yeah. We never dropped the ball. Yeah. We did keep it moving. Yeah. We kept it moving.
And that's one of those things of moving in faith that I think that I know up to this point, like you said, we've done well with. And I think we just want to honor God with that. Absolutely. We're moving in that faith regardless. Yeah. And on top of that, this is also one of the things that we've learned in this is being able to be vulnerable enough to be more expressive with that. Yeah. I think that's something that I learned that I know I got to do better with. Yeah. It's just being open like that, because I'm not Superman. No. You're not Superwoman. And that's the whole reason why we have people in our community around us. That's the whole reason why they, not the whole, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Not the whole reason, but like you said with me just now, it's not fair of me to rob you of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I feel like I got to be the strong. It's not fair of us to rob them of that either. So that's one of the things that I learned halfway through this as well. Yeah. So far.
Being more expressive of it, because, sometimes I think too is some of that resentment that we were starting to build up, or even not even resentment, but kind of like being overlooked in a way from our relationships. And one thing I had learned a long time ago, but when you are emotional, those type of things sometimes go out the window, is this you can't put this expectation on people that you really never expressed to them that you needed from them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you're in relationship with people in general, and even though they're dealing with their own things, you need to tell them like, hey, like I kind of really need you to like show up for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes too, we have to be cognizant of, are we putting that on them to fix it and we can't?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, one thing that when I was reading Job through all this, Job stuck out a lot to me. And we talked about this recently as well. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get back to some of the things. But right now we're just kind of talking about the emotional state because it was awareness. The enemy will play on your mind and on your heart in so many different areas. If you are not grounded in your word as if like we have been, our relationships would be depleted. Everything that we have going on would be completely done had we not been had our foundation with God. God, the devil would have played so many tricks on us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How we acted on some of the emotions that we were feeling within that time. But I was looking at Job, and we had talked about this. Remember when we were talking about this just recently? But I had talked about it a long time ago when we had first moved here. Like, man, Job was going through all these different things. And listen, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or fashion that we are going through what Job went through.
Please hear us, Lord.
Okay,
we are not saying that.
And I don't want to go through what Job went through. Okay, like at all. But I felt Job. Like when he was
the
empathy with
it. Yeah,
it was him when he was going through it. You know, when he had shaved his head and he just sat there and his friends, the people came and sat around him. Yeah. They just sat there.
But I think it said for a week. Didn't say nothing.
Yep. Now I got a little crazy after that week with people they were sharing, and then God even had to get on Job's head after a while. Yeah. And so
But you know what though? That's the thing that we fear. We fear or we don't want to hear what about to get into a Bible study. Don't want to hear the next part of what happened after they actually sat with him. Yeah. That's kind of like why we can tend to not be open and share.
Yeah. And the thing was though, like it was just that support. You know? Sometimes people, you know, your friends know that you can't fix anything for them. But just being there. You know, being there in solidarity, in prayer. Yep. Not just I'm praying for you at home, but like I'm come sit with you. Yep. Right in your mess, come sit with you. But what I was super thankful for was the closeness you and I have experienced, the intimacy that you and I have experienced within this. Yes, we grew closer to Christ, but with each other as well. Yeah. We got to experience this journey together. Yeah. And this was new for both of us. So the emotions that you were feeling, some of them were new. Yep. Some of the emotions and the breakdowns I had, they were new. But man, I just said this last week after we got news of other things happening. You know what? I'm a problem now. Yeah. I'm a problem. Yeah. The endurance. Yeah. That that has been produced in us.
Especially the last, like you said, in the last month, it's been a notable change in our stamina, demeanor.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Just attitude towards stuff. Yeah. It's been a notable change. Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for it because it has not even just not the stuff, not even just with the house or other, just things that we've been experiencing throughout this journey. God revealed some areas that would have never been revealed had we not been crushed to the extent that we have been, whether it be with me dealing with my social anxiety, whatever it is. God is showing me you got to deal with these things right now in this crushing in order for me to catapult you into where I want you to be. Because if you don't deal with it now, you're going to be destroyed.
Yeah, we won't be destroyed. Able to handle.
We wouldn't be able to handle.
Won't be able to handle. Won't be able to know how to navigate. Won't have the stamina to navigate. Man, to be able to run the marathon. I learned as necessary.
Yeah, I learned so much about myself. And what I love about what we did throughout this journey is we legit didn't run from we didn't run from the negative things that we discovered about ourselves in this. It's like, bro, I really need to work on this. I really need to work on this. And we actively took steps to it, to do it. I'm back to reading and I'm like reflecting. And when I'm doing these reflections, I'm like, I'm not going to keep this to myself. I'm going to tell Anthony. So these are the things, like I was just telling you yesterday about my social anxiety and what God was revealing revealing to me with that and things I need to fix with that. And, you know, even going back to therapy and working through some of those things I experienced that I thought were healed and over with. And so you would think like, man, from all this stuff pressured in your life, that's what you got from me? Yeah, because it showed me who I am under pressure. Yeah. And choosing a life for Jesus, with Jesus, does not mean that it's absent of problems. But what is ever present is hope. That's what we have that nobody else does. It's like, I know at the other end of this, I'm going to be all right. Yeah. I'm going to be okay. Even though it's one thing after another. Yeah. We're going to be all right.
Yeah, it's interesting being able to interesting for me at least, to be in a position of really and truly having to lean ultimately on God. Yes. And like deal with my feelings and emotions and things that are completely out of my control from a spiritual basis. Yeah. I just made this realization. Like I used to always see people, like every year I would see people on Facebook or whatever. They would say, man, 2015 was the hardest year of my life, but it didn't. 2018 was the hardest year. And I will always see that. I'm like, bro, what? Bro, it's always somebody saying that. And I can legit say it finally hit me. This last year was the hardest year of my life. It literally was.
It was the hardest year
of our life. I never experienced that before. No. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't resonate.
And it's crazy. It's crazy how time will humble you, but time will also give you and teach you wisdom.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy, you know, what wisdom will be proven right by its children. Well, the faith that I've had in God throughout all of this, even though the times that it had been waning and the times that it had been super rough and super frustrating, it has still brought and built me up to a point where it's like, it's only gonna happen one way, or I'm only gonna be good one way with one person. Yeah. In God. But that's one of the biggest things that has been like so prevalent, you know what I'm saying? Like with and through all of this, it's just getting and figuring out where my faith really is. Yeah, like absolutely. And I'm thankful that my faith was there before, that I at least had the I guess the spiritual IQ, if you will, to have faith in a God that I couldn't see without, you know, the being crushed, like you were saying, to a certain level. Because when that crushing actually did come, the spiritual muscle had already at least been somewhat worked. Absolutely. We went week out. Yeah, there's a saying, those that sweat in practice don't bleed in war. Okay. So you know, the work and stuff that we have been doing in God and having the faith and
it's sustained.
It definitely sustained for when it's actually necessary. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for that, you know, what is this?
You know, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And you know, when you read the verse about consider it great joy. When you're going through it, you do not want to hear that.
That's hard, bro.
It's hard.
But we have to.
We consider it great joy. But in hindsight, hey, God did his big one though. Because who I am now is not who I am. I was a year ago when we moved here. Yeah. Because it has strengthened us tremendously. Like big body, you know, big body. Yeah. And it's still a lot of growth, but how we have responded to the things now that are still coming our way is not how we were responding at first. Yeah. The meltdowns, the breakdowns, don't get me wrong. There are times when we have our moms like, come on, man, like, this is whack. But to God be the glory.
Yep. God be
this
the glory.
Is whack. but to God be the glory. And so, I was struggling. It was to a point where I was struggling in parts. I'm like, you know, when you pray and be like, my will, but your will be done.
Yeah.
And it's like, his will is good, but like, what if his will is...
Man, bruh. Straight praying with a tab open like...
I'm like, I mean, yeah. You know how you got to hurry up and do something like, oh, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And you got to walk away. Your will be done. And I'm going to
But that's faith. That's
faith.
That's mustard seed, right? That's mustard seed. Even if that's it.
It's faith nonetheless. But emotionally, I think I would say we've grown tremendously. And it's such a blessing because we would never have done that before. And, you know, sometimes people are close to us who know some of the things that's going on. They're like, man, I can't see what God about to do with all of this. I can't wait to see what God about to do all this. But then I looked and I was thinking, and I remember mentioning to you, if he may not decide to do anything different with it.
Well, we'd be okay.
It may be literally him providing the bare necessities of what we need. It may not be this extravagant thing at the end of the day, because he promises us to give us what we need, right? And we're going to talk about how he's done that throughout this. It didn't necessarily look how we wanted it to look. It didn't, but it was a blessing. And we had to adjust our lenses to see God moving in the midst of everything that we've been experiencing. Yeah. And when Romans says all things work together for the good of those who believe and are called according to his purpose, right? It's training our mindset and our perspective to understand and be able to actually see what that good is. Yeah. If we're looking at it from a us perspective, then you might not see the good. Yeah. And that's kind of where we have had to be in this. But we got 6 months in. We had issues with the furnace. We had issues with the AC at the beginning of the summer. In the car. And we're at the beginning of the summer. Not the beginning of summer. It's like the beginning of spring. Yeah. And it's tax time. Oh, I forgot about the taxes. It's tax time. Now, I'm not thinking anything is wrong. It's taxes. We set up our taxes the proper way. Yeah. When we get new jobs and all of these different things. So we hire somebody that do our taxes, work through everything, all good. And we actually got a bill. We end up with how? And it's a bill that I'm not expecting like to get a return every year. And we year, honestly. We barely ever do. And that's a good thing. Okay. I mean, we're breaking even. Yeah, perfect. Cool. And if anything, it's a couple $100 or something like that. But we got like slapped a few $1,000s bill. Got slapped. And in every way possible. And the way that it happened is crazy. It was almost like God, like, come on, bro. Like, right. Because the reason is, if anyone remembers in the story from part 1, we hustled so hard that summer, we made more money. Yeah. And because we made more money, means we actually had a tax bill. Yeah. Not thinking about that or thinking that the magnitude of what that, didn't think it was going to be that big of a magnitude. Yeah. We actually incurred more debt on top of the debt that we didn't already had. Yeah. Hustling up for what we were following in his obedience. And so it's just like, God, what and why? Like, this can't be real. Like, this cannot be real. We were getting slapped in ways that we had never been slapped before. Like, it just didn't make sense to us. And tax bills can't hang out. Well, I don't want tax bills to hang out. Well, it didn't. I know. It didn't. Thank God. We have a budgeting system and it didn't hang out. But that left us with no excess of anything. And so it was funny because close to after that, our car, we luckily had 2 cars. One we bought for cash, but Baby Blue is what I call it. Baby Blue, it's just been riding with us. It's been holding us down. But we bought a newer car. And that was our primary.
And this is a couple years ago.
A couple years ago. It took 2 years. It really wasn't long. But it was a newer car. It was our family car. And we're not heavy drivers. Right. But mind you, when I moved here, I ended up getting a job that I didn't necessarily want to be a part. I didn't want to have. And this is where it's a blessing in it as well. Because the car ended up we just started smelling stuff in it. And so at this point, the engine is just done. Yep. Okay. Engine, long story short.
Basically blew a head gasket.
It's blew a head gasket. The engine's done. And luckily, God blessed me with a job where I was able to work remote. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't having to use that car anymore. We were down to one car.
And we were okay with that.
And we were okay with that.
Not necessarily okay with that, but we were not okay.
Because that car's still sitting there.
The car's still sitting in our driveway.
It's still sitting in our driveway, y'all, because the bill.
Gotta get a new engine.
Gotta get a new engine. And we just want to sell it. You know, that's what we do. I don't want to keep it. Yep. But, and then, God blessed me. God blessed me with a job that allowed me to be at home. So we didn't even need the extra car. Well, we know we still needed it, but it wasn't as much headache on us at that point. But the other car that we have has very high mileage. We're afraid. You know, we just don't know.
It's gonna roll.
It's gonna roll. It's gonna roll.
It's gonna roll.
And we were blessed. Also, my little sister came to live with us, which has been great because we just want to be there to be, you know, be able to be there for our family, right? But all of this is happening around us while we want to keep her calm too, because she's with child, you know what I'm saying? So we want to create a comfortable space with her for her and her future baby. Meanwhile, we're trying to keep all of this stuff that's happening around us in our life away from people who are dependent on us, who they want to see us win as well, but we just want we want people to live a peaceful life and not have to worry about, you know, what we're going through. And so, you know, her needing her doctor's appointments and, you know, her needing things to do as well. And we down to one car, you know, her working, needing to you know, we're working it out. It was working out, her leaving to go to her job. We're dropping Noah off. We at home. She'll be back before Noah get out of school. Then we go get Noah. Then we back at home. It's working. And so even though it wasn't an ideal situation, God still provided and has provided what we need in the midst of it. And that's a beautiful thing where all of us have had what we need in that season, in this season. So that's been great. And then hospital bills. We got to talk about what God has been doing.
Yeah, so them little nods that we was talking about.
Yeah, those little nods from God.
Excuse me. Through that time, we were blessed to be able to come across a help of extra income, right? But that was a blessing to be able to, because we don't know what or how everything that had happened we would have been able to take care of. And, you know, it's kind of crazy how it works out, but that's one thing. It's like, all right, we cool, we're able to hold and sustain here, but then it's like the enemy is like, okay, but now you gotta, we're gonna tack that on there too. You got this, you got to tack on here as well. So there's it's like there's been there was seed to rebuke the devourer, right? But it's like that was getting devoured.
Baby, we getting devoured all the coins.
It's like, man. But the one thing that has been the blessing, I think, is also that God also grew our desire to be a blessing, a vessel, a tool of His, and not allow that fear to stifle up what we can do or be or what we can contribute to His kingdom.
Absolutely.
In our time, in our talent, in our treasure, like we're still always looking to give, or at least be there, be available at least. At least even if we didn't feel like it. Like still be available.
Absolutely. Because, you know, with all of that stuff happening in our life and God blessing me with that remote position to be at home, it was a huge salary increase for me, the most I had ever made, but we weren't seeing it. It was kind of crazy. The most we had ever made in our life, we were never seeing
it. See it.
Because
it had to go.
We were drowning. And even
from all our emergencies.
And even in that, God was just like, you still do not have permission. You still do not have permission to stop giving.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we never stopped tithing through it all,
Mm-hmm.
but it was,
Being
you
more
see somebody
generous
else that
outside of
need,
that,
you
yeah.
got to be even more generous.
Yep.
But I'm like, but God, we don't even have our rent server. You ain't supposed to. Give it all away.
Yep.
And it was a song by KB, and I think he was just like, he said something that was like, I'd rather die with my bank account was zeros, not because I'm something, but I gave it all away.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the day, there is no fallback for us, you know?
Right now, I still like that. Now, hold on now.
No, I said right now it's not. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that we don't want it.
Uh-huh.
It's a super, this season has been prolonged, God. Okay. And we just trying to get it right. Because we don't want to be here again.
Right.
I want to get it right if this is a test. But it's been so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But in that, we've grown so much. But God gave us a nod there. I'm going to give you more. I'm going to give you another job. And you're going to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be enough to cover all the problems that y'all got right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be enough to cover those extra bills.
Yep.
Not live lavish. I still ain't decorated my house.
Yep.
You know, but it's going to be enough to provide for you and people who are attached to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a blessing. And it's like, okay, God, no lie. We literally, it's like walking on the water, right? Not supposed to take your eyes off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he took his eyes off of God is when he started down. Oh, you of little faith.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he started seeking. I'm trying my best to keep my eyes on God.
Yeah.
Because literally ain't nothing but water around us.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to stay focused on God. Those nights where people wouldn't even know that you've been up at 3 a.m. since 3 a.m. praying and worrying and riddled with anxiety, but you show up the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Not just to work, but to church or whatever it is, so that people can pull whatever they need to pull from you with no idea of what you're going through. Strengthening myself so that I can pour into God's people in the midst of what it is that I'm experiencing. I'm having counseling sessions with people. I'm doing all these different things, and they wouldn't even know.
And they don't need to know.
And they don't need to know. And I don't want them to know.
Yeah.
I don't want them to know.
But they know now. They would know now.
Now they're gonna know now.
But that's the past.
But the reality is that's the part that he wants from us.
Exactly.
That's what he wants, is no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, I want God to know that he can still rely on me to do what it is that he's called me to do. In the midst of, I don't care how you feel about it, bro. It's not about how you feel. My job here is to do God's work. And I'm not going to always feel it. Y'all go clock in a job that you don't like to make less desirable money than you want to make. But you can't do ministry. I am going to do his work, period. Even sometimes even do it with an attitude, like your mama tell you go wash the dishes and you don't want to. I'm like, that's how I be feeling sometimes. Like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. My heart wasn't always right in some of the stuff that I was doing because I was riddled with so much going on in my life. And God worked with me on that as well. I think people would take away you see all these people on social media and do this and do this and do this. And I'm like, can y'all be real about how hard that is? Be real about how difficult it is to do it. Not telling people, of course you should. The testimony part. Yes. Talk about how difficult it was for you to wake up in the morning and go do what God told you to do when you were struggling at home. Talk about how you were up, like I said, at 3 a.m. riddled with anxiety because you don't know how you're going to make it through the next day with money or if everything breaking around you, but you still went and you sold and you poured into his people. Talk about how difficult that is. Following Jesus is not all beautiful. It's worthy though. It's worth it. But nobody talks about that. And so we're going to kill all of that. We're going to talk about how difficult it is. But God gives you nods of, like you said, nods of, okay, I got you. Rainbows of, I told you I'm going to take care of you. It's his promises. Keeping your eyes on his promises. We took Noah, even been out here, Noah had did something to his little arm or something, right? And had to go to the doctor. I had to go to the doctor, get an x-ray. Lord, y'all know how high those emergency room bills are. And so, of course, got a medical bill, right? And you going through the bills like
almost $2,000.
Almost $2,000
bill,
right? And you like, okay, going through the bills and like, let me call and get on a payment plan, right? What happened when you called to get on the payment plan?
Called them. And they literally say, yeah, that bill was taken care of last year. Now, mind you, this bill had been sitting for a year.
A year.
On my desk. It's been sitting on my desk for a year.
Yeah, for a year.
And it's just been sitting there looking at me.
Yeah. And you like, I'm gonna just go ahead and take care of it.
So let me call, at least let them know I'm alive. And I ain't ducking and dodging them.
Yeah.
And sure enough, called them, and the lady says, let me put you on a 3-minute hold. She's going, doing, looking. She's like, yeah, sir, this is a zero balance. This was paid off last year. Like,
last year?
Like
meanwhile, it's just sitting on your
how?
desk.
Like how? And it's crazy how we could be worrying about certain things that he didn't already taken care of.
Come on, because I don't preach all on the song.
No, but the thing is, sometimes it's interesting because God doesn't live in the time dimension, right? Mm-hmm. So the way I look at that, when God doesn't live, when I see someone or think about a being that's not in time, we perceive time as start, end. Yep. Beginning, end, start, finish. And that's that. That has to happen first. That has to happen last. Whereas if you outside of time, you see it all. Yeah. If I put something on this, like we're in 3 dimensions, right? If I put something on this table, all the flat whatever, the flat piece of paper, all it sees is whatever is above it or below it. Yeah. But I see all of this around it at the same time. So that's how I look at God seeing time. Like he's right at this moment, he's looking at September 23rd, 1989, and he's looking at October 19th, 2023. Absolutely. Anthony at the same time. Yes, he sees it. At the same time. So the same way that was taken care of and we still worrying about it a whole year from now is the same way even spiritually with like the issues that we're even going through now. It's already taken care of. It's just we got to live it out and experience the reality of it getting taken care of, even though he already knows, it's already taken care of.
Sometimes we worried about something right where we're like, okay, if I do this right now, God, then it's going to put me in this much debt. That guy, like, I've already taken care of that a few months down the
It's
line,
already done.
And you don't even realize it's already taken care of.
It's already done.
It's already done.
It's already done.
But you see, like the fact that it could be in one phone call, like God is in the background working things out in your favor. And there was nothing that we had to do to put our hands on it, to do anything with it, to make it work for us.
Nothing at all.
And so
that lady said, y'all qualified for a program.
You qualified. You qualified. That's the beauty in it right now. The beauty in what she said is you qualified.
Qualified.
It's and didn't even call us to notify us.
It's already done.
It's already taken care of.
It's literally already done. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. We don't have to think about it. There's like it's taken care of.
It's taken care of.
And how different would that be if in the moment? Now it's still difficult because we human and God gave us these emotions to be able to know how to navigate and have his conversation with him and pray with him and all of these different things. But how different would our lives be if we just immediately took on his perspective, regardless of whatever emotion hits us, and just say, well, it's already taken care of.
It's already taken care of.
And be cool and legit be good with it.
Because we got to know the how.
Life might be too easy.
Because we got to know the how.
It might be too easy from that point.
Yeah, that goes beyond our level, our scope of understanding, because we have to know the how. The only reason why it's easy for us to say right now is, see, we qualified. God took care of us because we saw that it happened already.
That's a challenge for us.
That's
a challenge for us, babe.
We need to say that right now. It's already taken care of.
It's already taken care of.
Because we still getting riddled with news. Yeah. You know?
Wow. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Like that was a cool little revelation there right there. It's already taken care of.
We growing through it, and we're growing through it. Okay. Yeah. Growing through it right now as we talk about it. And that's something that we do have to apply to our life. It's already taken care of.
So when you see me, tell me. It's already taken care of.
It's already taken care of. And you got to tell me too.
I'm going to tell you.
I will say we've been doing, I could tell we both had our little bouts. And guess what? We just pick it right back up. Yep. And so we have to make sure we do that for each other. It's been. Say
it with me. It's already taken care of. Dang. Now when they actually come to it, how's they going to hit?
Right.
When it actually come time for that, that's going to be the fun part.
Man.
Because I know how them feelings and emotions can hit.
Thanks.
That's another thing that's grown in me too. That is another conversation. We got
a lot
to talk about this season coming up.
We're gonna talk about this season. It's gonna be a different.
Yeah.
It's gonna be different approach to how we talk about things. But we're talking about culture and everything that's going on in it. But right now, it's us getting refocused.
Yeah.
And reaffirming ourselves in who Christ is and who he's been, and praising him for the things that he has made happen. The not having to come to the table when we close on our house with money. The getting you here safe and sound, and even providing transportation for us to get here and move into our home. Yep. The ample amount of assistance that we had with putting stuff away in our house in the moving process. The blessing me with the job, although it was not something that I necessarily wanted at that time, it sustained us in that time. As issues continued to arise, he gave me a better paying job that was able to cover the expenses. Although we were swimming, he still provided for us in the midst of that. Not just enough for us, but enough for us to help other people around us. And so although it hasn't been an ideal situation, but it's been a God situation.
Absolutely.
And
even up to a few days ago, we still getting hit with stuff.
Yeah.
Like big stuff.
Oh.
It's not place to talk about it right now.
No. Not right now. We're gonna say
just know. Well, as you and I know, it's big stuff that we are praying heavy on.
Yeah.
Like we're praying heavy on. And it's already taken care of.
It's already taken care of. Ooh, that's hard. It's already taken care of.
We got to put it in exercise right now.
It's already taken care of.
It's already taken care of.
And I can't wait to show you how God, the rainbow he gives us in this, the nod.
Yeah, I think the other thing that kind of on a subliminal level too, that's like, aside from like, yes, all the spiritual stuff, like, yes, also the winks and prophecy and head nods that he's given us of where ultimately he's going to have us and what he's going to have for us too.
Yeah.
There's been countless things.
Yeah.
There's been where'd that come from?
I don't know what that was. That was a delayed, interesting listening.
But it's been countless things, countless words of knowledge, countless this isn't the end.
Yeah.
This isn't the forever. This isn't outside of everything.
Yeah. You know what song is in my head? I'm strong. I'm wiser. I'm better.
Much better.
All things you brought me through, Lord.
Now I see what's best for me. Yeah.
No, for real, we wouldn't have made it. And y'all know you have to shut people down. We do not own the rights to any of that.
Never could. This is a cover, so that's okay.
Hey, just got to be sure. I want to cover all my bases, but that's what it's like. I never would have made it, and we still making it. And it's just it's a process, and we weren't able to go into all the nitty gritty of the intricate details of it all. But imagine you moving your life from one place to another to follow God, and everything falls apart. Mm-hmm. Everything starts to fall apart. You're stressing about your child. That alone is enough to cripple a parent. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then all the other stuff around it. And we just trying to be who God wants us to be at the end of the day. So make no mistake. There is no regret about moving. There is no regret about doing what God told us to do.
Yeah.
At all. There's no, dang, maybe I chose the wrong path. Whenever it's God tells us to do something, we made the right choice. Mm-hmm. And although I don't know what's happening next, I'm in good hands. Mm-hmm. And so now those 3 a.m.s are turning to 4:30s. They're better, but they're not even filled with anxiety. Mm-hmm. They're filled with prayer. Because now I know that if I struggle with that, Then I know how to fight it though too.
Yeah,
I know how to fight it with God's word. Whenever those thoughts creep up in my mind about defeat, I know that I can lean on God's word. I immediately look over, God, these thoughts will not consume me.
Mm-hmm.
They won't consume me. Only your words will.
Yep.
And so I'm going to combat lies with truth all day long. So yeah, I'm up at 4:30 and I'm praying.
Yep.
And then I'm going back to sleep and I'm going to conquer my day and I'm going to pray throughout the day and I'm going to fix my mind and my heart and my eyes on Jesus and not my situation, not my circumstances. And that's just what we've been doing. Yep. And we're going to continue to do that. And now we're going to continue to walk in what he's told us to do in Refocused, in ministry, in marriage, in all of our relationships, parenthood, siblings, friendships. We just want to be the best versions of ourselves. And shout out to you, big daps to you for pushing through.
Facts.
Because we doing it.
We own it. We own it. I gotta say the same to you because I done seen you push and grow. I done seen it on purpose too. I done seen it.
When all else fails, just pray about it. God will give you all that you need. Right now, if you are in need of something from God, seek his face, seek him, seek his word. More than anything, seek a relationship with him. He craves that intimacy with you. And so in this crushing, it's been hard for us, but God is not the sick God that just wants to see us suffer. He loves us dearly. And in the book I was reading, Crushing by T.D. Jakes, he talked about how in our healing, even we have to be cut in a certain, you may be going through a lot of pain and some like, God, why am I going through this? Sometimes you have to go through a lot of pain for him to heal you. And I think of it, like he said in the book was, people automatically associate pain with bad things. It's not necessarily bad, but if you have this pain in your body and you go through surgery and they're cutting at you and to heal, to fix whatever's on the inside. Yep. And then, there may be some healing after that because now you have to recover. But all cutting, all crushing, all pruning is not, it's not just to punish you. It's because God is trying to fix some things, move some things around, mold some things, heal some things. Yep. And so if he's taking something out of me, I also got to account for the healing, the healing pain as well. Yep. And so it does get better. It gets
that God perspective.
That God
perspective.
It gets better.
It changes everything. Yep.
And ultimately, to some people who are still pursuing certain things that we put down, and just in different ways, God's way is always going to be superior. We're not missing out on anything. We miss out on everything when we decide not to follow Christ. And so I'm extremely grateful that God chose us to be exactly where we are and be experiencing what we are experiencing.
It's right on time.
Right on time.
Right on time. That's a fact.
So there has to be a breakthrough.
It's already done.
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 Can't wait to see what it is.
It's already done.
Can't wait to see what it is.
It was taken care of a year ago.
It was taken care of a year ago. Right before we even seen this coming. So I'm excited to get this thing back rolling.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad indeed.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see y'all
next week.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah. Next week sounds good.
It's maybe a little bit lengthier, but thank y'all for staying tuned and listening to us. And hopefully we blessed y'all with some of the things that we talked about, just a sharing of our own testimony. God is good.
Yep.
He really is.
And you'll get updates as we get them.
Because they're ever
as we get them, you'll get them.
Yeah.
And you'll get them.
Yeah. I promise y'all we're not just talking about ourselves on this podcast, but we are talking about our experiences.
We might even be incorporating some guests.
I think that'll be a great idea. I think a couples thing will be a bang job.
We might even have some guests.
Yeah,
Who knows?
But
we open.
We love y'all. We appreciate you all for sticking it out with us and and listening. And remember, in the meantime, in between time, stay focused.
Stay focused. Peace.